Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with a foundation review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the newest foundation from Huda Beauty. It is her, what is she calling this? Faux Filter Luminous Matte Foundation. I have reviewed her original formula along with the stick. I loved the stick, so I will link both of those down below if you'd like to see them, along with all of my other foundation reviews and shades that I am in other foundations. As always, I will have timestamps down below if you'd like to skip ahead. I'll be doing a before and after, of course showing you the application, how it looks in flash photo, how it looks in natural light, and of course a check-in at the end of the day. So if you want to skip ahead, by all means, I won't be offended. They will all be linked down below, but let's go ahead and get started. So this foundation retails for $52 Canadian. I picked it up from Sephora. You are getting 1.18 fluid ounces in here, so a little bit more than the average size of a foundation, which is cool. I like the packaging. I can't remember fully how this compares to the original because I've since gotten rid of the original, so you know what my thoughts were on that. But it does have a pump and you can see the shade through, which I really appreciate. I picked it up in the shade 415N Churro, which is one of their newer shades and what I wear in the stick. I figured we would do a comparison of the shades because I really liked the shade of the stick and I felt like it was more neutral perhaps than the liquid, but I haven't actually put them side by side, so why don't we do that now? Actually, funny enough, so here is the stick and here is the liquid. They're definitely not the same shade, stick liquid. The stick looks almost darker. Neither of them look as neutral as I thought, but I felt like the stick was a good match, and I felt like every time I've used this liquid, it looks quite orange on me. I definitely don't have as much color as normal, but I don't feel like it's as neutral as I would anticipate it to be when it's calling itself neutral. But anyways, that is the shade I picked up. I picked it up online too, obviously. Stores in Toronto. Are they open now? I can't tell what they're doing, but I'm ordering everything online anyways. But what I am going to do is definitely prime my face. Firstly, I'm going to use the Bobbi Brown Primer Plus Hydrating 3-in-1 Setting Spray. Preps, sets, refreshes makeup. I find this to be like a good prep spray. I never really use it as a setting spray. And then I'm going to put down some of the NYX Hydrating Jelly Primer. The issue that I've had with this in the past, and I did a get ready with me, and I'll link that down below, is that it doesn't blend nicely, especially for something that says it's luminous. I mean, it's saying it's luminous matte, but it was like the areas that I dabbed it on set down really quickly, which I might expect from something that's supposed to be fully matte, but even still fully matte, full coverage formulas are better than that now. That was kind of the case of like blend it out immediately or work in sections. Let's see how they say to use it. Starting with one pump, apply foundation all over your face with a dense brush or damp beauty sponge. It says for best results use their brush, which I didn't pick up. I didn't pick up their primer either. But it does say use on top of their hydrating jelly primer, which is similar to what I've done for luminous skin, and for major glow use their liquid highlighter. So I am going to use a dense brush today. And I really love this one. It is the Sephora Pro Flawless number 56. This was like some holiday packaging. It just comes in like a black now, but it's a really great brush. I love it for cream contour too. I'm going to take out one pump. You don't get a ton. It's very thick. I'm going to just put on a tiny, tiny bit. I will say I didn't like it. I did not like it with a sponge. I felt like you can't work it into the skin enough, and it just doesn't blend easily enough to be able to be used with a sponge. So it's very rare that I come across a foundation that has to be applied a certain way. You know, sometimes I have a preference, but in my opinion, I will not use a sponge with this. You can see how it turned out in that get ready with me that I mentioned, because I did use a sponge there. This is a vegan formula. It's also fragrance free, which I think is super cool. I'm glad that they heard us. Like, I am not sensitive to fragrance. I like fragrance in my skincare and in my makeup. It doesn't bother me, like not necessarily my preference, but sometimes I like it. If it smells like oranges and it's a vitamin C, it's like a nice sensorial experience. But the fragrance on this original formula is so powdery and perfumey. And worst of all, it lasted on your skin. And I could smell it for like an hour after I used it. So I'm glad that they've listened. I still feel like it looks patchy. It's just not good enough. I haven't watched anybody else's reviews on it, but I'm disappointed because this is one of like it shouldn't be this hard to work with. I don't know if you can tell, but it's patchy. It's almost like it stains your skin. It's not even like it's I guess it's like on account of it being hard to blend, but it's like after I do this, shouldn't I be, you know, I shouldn't have to manipulate it this much and work this hard to get it to work on my skin, especially when I hydrated well and that you just saw me put on those 2 hydrating products. And it's supposed to be luminous but matte. It's the kind of thing too that I feel like depending on the light, it picks up where it did and didn't. I think it oxidizes too. It looks really dark on my hand. This foundation review is going great. And I have worn this before. It's not a first impression. I think I mentioned that, but just in case, a lot of people, not only do a lot of people only do first impressions, they do like first application, which to me, I'm like, that makes sense if you're looking for a shade match and stuff, but just putting a foundation on your face and then saying if you like it or not, like obviously you can give your first impression, but like that's not really giving much information. So I have been wearing this different ways, especially just trying to make it work. So I definitely like the look more now that I've blended it. Like I only used 1 pump. I'm not going to use any more. I'm just not. So I'm not going to get to full coverage. I don't think it would look good full coverage if I added much more. Now it has a nice luminosity. It's evened out my skin. I think it's not patchy, but it's also mattifying too, so I can only blend it so much. So now that I've manipulated enough, I like the way that it looks on my skin. I almost, if the shade was a little bit better, feel like I could actually wear it on its own because I've worn it in a lighter coverage way. So I can't really speak to the versatility of the amount of full coverage that I can get out of it, but I can tell you that it does look good when used in a lighter application. So depending on the shade and what you're looking for, if you do want to be able to build it up to full, you might be able to get there. To me, it seems like it might get cakey, like super cakey, but in wearing it just like this with 1 pump, that means it's going to last for a long time on your face, or last for a long time in the bottle, then I think it looks pretty good. So I will go ahead and take some flash photos and I will be right back. Okay, I am back with my full face of makeup on now, and I think you can see it looks really nice. I actually have no highlighter on, so I guess by the idea of luminous matte, they're getting at like a natural matte sort of idea. I mean, let me tell you exactly what they're getting at. Do they say? It says it's a cult favorite fragrance-free foundation with a luminous matte finish. So I'm guessing they're getting at the fact that it has a natural matte finish, but I'm a little perplexed because it's a little bit glowier than what I expect from something to be natural matte, and it's definitely not matte at all, like not at all. You can see it in the photos. Here in my lighting, there's definitely quite a bit of sheen, and like I powdered and like it's still a little bit shiny in a couple of particular places, and in addition to that, in the flash photo, I thought it actually looked really beautiful. My skin showed through really nicely because I don't have a ton of it on my face. Didn't look cakey. There's a little bit of a sheen, but just as like a heads up for those of you who are purchasing it perhaps with oily skin, it definitely doesn't give me the vibes of something matte. Don't like focus too much on the fact that the word matte is in there. It didn't dry down also completely matte on my skin, but it definitely wasn't sticky either. It feels really comfortable. And it looks good. The shade is definitely not my preference. It's warmer than what I want it to be. Definitely doesn't feel like a neutral to me, but yeah, it looks good, and I'm really happy that it's fragrance free at the very least. So I will continue to wear this for a few more hours and check back with you in some natural light. Hello, coming to you in some natural light to show you how it's been holding up. I've been wearing it for the past couple of hours, and I think you can see that the shade match is not great. It's definitely warmer than I wanted it to be, and I think it has oxidized slightly. My face and my body are not always the same color, but definitely the orangey warmness is a little bit more than I would like. The shade isn't too bad, but it's definitely the undertone that's kind of sticking out to me. Definitely doesn't look oily though. It feels pretty matte and kind of tight on the skin, which is a good thing for me anyways when I have an oilier skin. I'm definitely not very oily right now though, but I will say it looks a lot heavier than it did. It looked super natural when I put it on first, and I put on a light powder today. I didn't even do a powder foundation, which is normally what I would wear with something if I'm going to do lighter coverage. So It's not the powder or anything. It definitely looks heavier, and I only put one pump on my face. Like, it was a light medium kind of coverage when I put it on, so I definitely wouldn't build it up anymore. Like I mentioned, it definitely seems like it has the tendency to get pretty cakey because it's already kind of trying to do something, but it doesn't look cakey right now. But that's just like, you know, if I only have one pump on my face and I didn't get the full coverage out of it, what would have happened if I tried to get the full coverage? You know what I'm getting at here. But otherwise, it feels really comfortable. It hasn't patched off or anything like that, so I'll continue to wear it for a few more hours and check back with you this evening. Hello, I'm back. It is the end of the day and I'm not impressed with this foundation. I kind of knew that it was going to be the deal, but I thought maybe in the way I prepped it today it may go a little bit better than the other days that I've tried it, but no. I just took off my glasses, so hopefully everything looks right here. But I've lost some product here. A little bit, look at my freaking hair, a little bit patchy over here, not crazy patchy, and I don't actually mind the finish, but for me there's just so many other foundations that do a better job. So my current recommendation right now, if you're looking for something that's matte and full coverage, the NARS Soft Matte is insanely good. I will link that review down below. If you're looking for something that is a little bit more natural, what do I like in terms of really natural foundations? Something more natural matte would be a good one, would be maybe the L'Oreal Fresh Wear, and then yeah, I mean there's just so many other foundations out there that are good. This one takes too much to work with. I don't love the shade. It oxidized. The finish, like there's nothing about it that's exceptional that justifies the amount of work that I felt I need to put into it to make it work. So I'm not sure how other people have reviewed it, but just the blendability of it from right off the bat, you can tell I'm tired, is not good. So it's a pass for me. You can save your money. I've tried a lot of other good foundations, so I will link them all down below if you'd like to check them out for yourself. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!